Hello, welcome to WCBN Sports. I am live from Alumni Field here in Ann Arbor. It's a balmy Friday afternoon as we prepare for the first Big Ten regular season game for the Michigan Wolverines this season, facing off against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Wolverines coming off of a tough loss in a midweek out-of-conference matchup against Miami of Ohio. Ended up taking several hours due to a rain delay. That was a couple days ago now, so hopefully the team is rested and ready to face off against Nebraska in game one of a doubleheader. Originally, it was supposed to just be at 6:30 p.m. today, but they added another one in due to weather plans on Sunday. I don't know if it's supposed to snow or not, but I think regardless, it is below the minimum temperature that the NCAA allows softball games to be played. So one of the few joys of playing in Michigan is that even in late March, you still have to contend with some of this. It will just be me on this broadcast today, but should be a great one as both teams are preparing to go. Just finish up the anthem. Storako is going to begin in the circle today, coming off an uncharacteristic game the other night. Getting a loss, and here's the first pitch. This one's a riser straight down the middle, ball one. We got Billy Andrews, the shortstop for the Cornhuskers, leading off today. Batting a very impressive .415 so far this season. Next pitch is in. This is going to be another ball, make it a 2-0 count. Nebraska wearing bright red with pinstripes. Not something you usually see or too often. I believe Indiana has a similar kit. Pitch 3 from Storako. This one's a little bit slower, and it's a called strike. So 2-1 count. Bat has yet to leave Andrew's shoulders so far. Pretty decent crowd coming out, particularly for the late change in the schedule. Next pitch is in. Another called strike. So 2-2, quickly battling back from that early deficit for Storako. Andrews, the shortstop. She's a sophomore. Stepping out of the box right now and calling time. Finally headed back in. Wind up in the pitch. That one's high. Going to make the count full. Michigan has had a very dominant season so far, beginning 18-7, 13th ranked in the nation, although that might fall after Wednesday's loss. Wind up in the pitch, swing and a miss, and that's strike one for Storako. Strikeout number one, so one out here in the top of the first inning. Ball only moved off Andrew's shoulders once, and it was a swing and a miss on a full count. Next up, we got Ybarra coming up to the plate for the Cornhuskers, the lefty. This one is fouled up back into the backstop, 0-1 count. I believe this game is on Fox Sports, so we thank everyone for tuning in to WCBN, even with Fox broadcasting. Second pitch is in. This one's a riser above the helmet. So got to make it a 1-1 count with one out here in the top of the first. Ybarra, senior, batting .357 this season. Pitch and a swing and a miss. That's going to be strike two. Storako seems to be dealing after Wednesday's outing. Had an uncharacteristic loss. That's only her first recorded loss of the season. Has 13-1 already. Wind up in a pitch, and this is put into right field. Getting under to center fielder Burkhardt. Makes a grab. 2 outs here in the first. That one was just a bloop right into the middle of center right. Center fielder called off LeClaire. Gets the out easily. So with that, Sydney Gray steps up to the plate with 2 outs for the Cornhuskers. Wind up in the pitch. This one's a slow one right down the middle for a called strike. Early 0-1 count. After throwing 2 balls to lead off the game, Sirocco is finding the zone. Wind up in a pitch. That one is not going to get the nod from the umpire. So 1-1 here with 2 outs. Sidney Gray at the plate. Gray is a sophomore, batting .369 coming into this one. Step in the windup, and this one's fouled off into the stands right in front of the press box. So unable to make the catch for any of the fans in attendance. It's going to make the count up to 1-2 with 2 outs here. Step back, wind up, pitch, and that's going to be a ring up strike 3. Just watched and went straight to the dugout. She knew she was not going to get the call on that one. And that's going to end the top of the first inning. No hits, no runs, no runners left on base. It is 0-0 as the Wolverines step to the plate for the first time today. Yeah, so this game was originally supposed to start at 6:30, and early this morning they added it to the calendar. So the fans in attendance had to make some late adjustments just to come on out. Friday at 3 o'clock, not exactly the easiest game to come on out to. Have to maybe call out of work a little bit earlier than usual or call out of class for some students here. And this game is replacing Sunday's game that was originally scheduled. Tomorrow's game is currently on the docket still at 2 p.m. So it'll be the 3-game series to open up Big Ten play for the Wolverines. Same for the Cornhuskers, too. They have not started any Big Ten opponents yet, completely out of conference. They are also very dominant this season so far, 19-9. Coming into this one. Nebraska is certainly going to be one of the Wolverines' biggest contenders for the top of the Big Ten in terms of title contention this season, along with, I would imagine, Northwestern, too, is competing season. With that, we're going to close up the intermission. Lexi Blair stepping up to the plate to lead off for the Wolverines in this one. Here comes Olivia Farrell from the circle. Pitch 1 is slow and right down the middle for a called strike. Blair's batting .315 today, or this season. The lefty senior has been a dominant part of this team's offense. Wind up pitch, and that's going to be a ball just barely inside. 1-1 count here for Lexi Blair. We do have some giveaways this weekend if any listeners are in the area and want some free swag. We got Farrell preparing for the pitch. Step forward, wind up, fouled straight into the Nebraska dugout. Gonna make it a 1-2 count. For the 6:30 p.m. game, I believe they're giving out some pennants that say Michigan softball. Add that to your man cave or your house. And then tomorrow they're giving out some Wolverine blankets, so definitely come to attendance if you're interested in either of that. 1-2 count. Here's a windup swing and lined right into the second baseman. Ybarra was right there and able to scoop it up and get the out. So quickly, Michigan surrenders 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Coming up next is Kirsten, Sierra Kirsten, the sophomore, batting .341 coming in this game, the left-hander. Wind up in the pitch. This one is going to be low and inside, it looks like, so ball 1. Crowd is getting loud into this one. Not too many fans, but they're making themselves heard. 1-0 count. Here's a pitch. Swing and a miss. That was a slow one. Change up right down the middle and completely fooled by it. It's been cloudy all morning, but the sun is starting to peek through here in Ann Arbor. 1-1 count. This one's going to be high, make it 2-1 now. Neither team has gotten a base runner yet this game. Still very early, bottom of the first. Farrell taking her time on each windup. Step and a throw and a bunt, and that's going to be a strike. Unable to make connect with it, and it'll make it 2-2 here. Came out of surprise. Corners of the infield came charging in there, including the pitcher, too, coming out of the circle. 2-2 count. Farrell in the windup pitch, and a swing and a miss. That'll be strike 3. 2 outs for the Wolverines as Kirsten goes back to the bench. Burkhart coming up to the plate has a commanding, I almost thought this was a typo at first, a .458 batting average. The season is still pretty young, but Burkhart is appearing to be a strong power hitter this season. It's going to be called strike right down the middle. 0-1 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Neither team has yet to get a run or a hit for that matter. Wind up pitch. And this is going to be a ball just barely high. Burkhart has a hitting streak coming into this one, I believe 14 games. So looking to extend that today, and then later today extend it potentially to 16. Wind up in the pitch. Going to watch that one go into the glove. No call from the umpire. 2-1 count. Burkhart yet to get a home run this season, but has 15 doubles. So going for those extra base hits, it looks like. Swing, and this one's put up into the air. Shallow center. Could someone get under? Yes, she can. Neal gets it in center field. And that'll be the end of the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no runners left on base here in the bottom of the first inning. Michigan returns to the dugout. It looked like from the crack of the bat that might find some open real estate, but Burkhart just unable to land. Great movement by Neal in center field, shifting over to shallow left to scoop under it. And with that, Sirocco comes back for the second inning here. Across from Alumni, we're looking at Fisher, for those who are familiar. The outfield's kind of kiss right there between the two fences, and you could see into it, get some free ball. There's a team playing on Fisher right now, and I'm a little bit curious if any listeners know who it might be, because at first you would think it would be Michigan's men's team, but they are actually in Lincoln today, also playing the Cornhuskers in baseball. But the softball team's in Ann Arbor, and the baseball teams are in Lincoln. So I know it's not the varsity teams right now. I'm thinking maybe the club baseball team could be playing, or occasionally high school. Maybe gets a game on Fisher. But regardless, they do have a little bit of a fan contingency, probably about 50 or so over there. Way more here in Alumni, almost 100, I would, if I had to guess. It's a really nice complex here for Wilpon, how they overlook. Really makes the two programs feel coherent together. Sometimes with a real blast, you could get maybe a home run onto the other field. But with that, we are back to play in the top of the second, as we got Felder coming to the plate, the right-handed junior for Nebraska. Steps out of the box, talks with the coach, and then gets back in as Sirocco looks to deal once again. 1K for Sirocco. This one's put up into the air over to first base. Getting under, it's Curzon, and Kirsten makes the out. So easy fly out right there. 1 pitch and 1 out. Talk about efficiency for Sirocco. Yet to have a base runner for Nebraska yet. Courtney Wallace comes up to the plate. The senior batting 5th in today's game. Wind up in a pitch, and we got a riser up to the helmet level, going to be a ball. Here's the windup and the pitch, fouled into the backstop. Almost caught off the bounce by Carson, unable to reel it in, but wouldn't have mattered, just for show right there. It's starting to drizzle a little bit. You see some fans pulling out some umbrellas for those unlucky to not be under the overhang. Wind up in a pitch. This is high and inside for ball 2. 2-1 count with 1 out here in the top of the second. Wind up in the pitch from Sirocco. Change up, that's going to be a ball. Slightly high, it looks like. Umpire did not like it. It's going to be 3-1 with 1 out here. Sirocco, a very impressive stat line this season. Pitch and a swing and a miss. It'll make the count full. That one got Wallace chasing, unable to even connect or get close. Now fighting to save this at bat right here. Wind up and the pitch, swing and a miss. That'll send her back to the dugout. Second strikeout of the day for Sirocco, adding to her season total. Coming into this one with 141. That'll make it 143 on the season. Just incredible stat line. It's only a month in the season, already 81 innings pitched. Only 2 home runs surrendered and 1 loss. 13 runs total. Wind up in a pitch. This one is high. Going to be ball 1 to Glatter. Peyton Glatter, the left-handed outfielder, stepping up to the plate. Has the lowest batting average of all the starters for Nebraska today, batting .211 this season. This one's tipped up into the air, goes into the third base grandstands. A little bit over that, too. Looking to get a new ball out there, and Glatter is stepping out of the box for a moment. Wind up in the pitch. This is fouled up once again, almost exactly the same spot in the third base bleachers. Just like that, the clouds begin to part. They do have the lights on in this one. I have a feeling they might have to turn that off pretty shortly. Here's the windup and the pitch. Let's see what the call is. They say she went. Drop, third strike, tags her out. That'll be the final out of the inning. Another strikeout for Sirocco, third of the day. And after 2, Nebraska has yet to get a hit this game. 0 runs. 0 errors in that last one, and no runners left on base. Sirocco looks like she's back to her regular self after Wednesday's abnormal game. We do have the NCAA hockey match happening right now. American International facing off against the Wolverines in Allentown, PA. Wolverines up 2-0, so we'll keep you updated on that one. I'm sure many Michigan faithful fans are tuning into this maybe and watching that online, or at least updating the score. That one's on ESPNU. WCBN was thinking about sending a crew to cover that one, but they could not throw us a bone when scheduling the regionals. Allentown, PA was the closest location. That was about a 9-hour drive. The other regionals, like you would think Michigan, the state of Michigan, not the university, but the state has so many great hockey programs. But you would think they'd at least have a regional in the Midwest, but This year it's in Allentown, PA, Albany, New York, Worcester, Massachusetts, and Denver, Colorado. So nowhere even close. You see Western Michigan had to go to Worcester to play, and that was technically their regional. Minnesota, Duluth had to play, I think, in Albany. Denver's the only high seed that got lucky playing at home. But with that, we go to the bottom of the second. Carson steps up to the plate. Farrell still in the circle. Wind up in the pitch. That one's going to be high on a riser. 1-0 count here. Carson has a pretty stellar season so far. 322 batting average. Second pitch is in, swing, and it lands for the first hit of the day into left shallow center field. And Carson rounds first, but is going to stay there. So finally breaks that one open and gets a base runner in this one. And Esmond is coming up to the plate, looking to advance Carson. Carson has yet to attempt to steal this season, but she has scored 11 runs. So had some time on the base path, just mostly glued straight to first. Let's see how Farrell adjusts to having a base runner for the first time today. Wind up in a pitch. That one's a fast one down low and a swing and a miss. 0-1 count here in the second with no outs. Esmond this season has 15 RBIs, 3 home runs included. Wind up in the pitch. 0-1 count. That one's going to be high and outside. 1-1. Olivia Farrell only given up 39 runs this season to a 10-4 record. Comes out to a 2.32 ERA. Looking to throw, leans back, steps forward, wind up, and this is fouled off right into the backstop. 1-2 count. Yeah, now the sun is almost completely out too, so lights are still on, but it's extra bright on the turf here at Alumni. 1-2 count. Esmond, one runner on first. Swing and fouled off into the backstop on the third base line. Infielders are playing back, looking to maybe turn 2. Got Carson at first base. One and 2 count. Leading back to Esmond. Here's the pitch. Gonna be high. Awfully close. Lucky the umpire did not call that one. It'll even it up at 2 apiece. Looking to stay alive. A couple of fouls on this at bat. Wind up and the pitch. That one's gonna be low and make the count full. Looks like it may have slipped a little bit off of the wind up. Unable to connect and landed in the zone. 3-2, runner on first base. No outs here in the bottom of the second. No runs for either team. Still tied at 0. Both teams are looking to get a Big Ten win. Hit into second, throw to the shortstop, and that'll be it. So fielder's choice as we had Ybarra flip over to Andrews. Andrews looked at a moment to throw it over to Felder, but unable to just connect there. Just decided to hang on to it. So Carson will come off the base path in exchange for Esmond at first. Esmond, only one stolen base attempt, and she was caught. Windra steps up to the plate. Wind up in the pitch, and we got a bunt, and that's going to roll foul. So strike one there, looking to maybe advance the runner with 1 out here. Coach Hutchins is a notorious fan of the small ball, trying to get runners on, advance them, and manufacture some runs. Signaling over to the batter from the third base box right now. The all-time winningest coach in college softball history. Got that distinction earlier this season in Durham. Pitch 2's a swing and a miss from Windra. 1 out, 0-2 count in the bottom of the second here. Game is still scoreless for those just tuning in. Farrell looking to get out of this jam. Wind up pitch. That's going to be high and outside. Ball 1. Staying alive is Windra. Windra has 17 hits on the season, batting .321. Most of them are singles, only 2 doubles, and no triples or home runs. There's a wind-up, 1-2 count. This one's low and slow and bounces right before the plate. Gonna even it up at 2-2. Crowd is continuing to trickle in. I have a feeling people may have got out of class or gotten out of work and trying to catch the later innings of this one. Curious to see how they do the tickets, whether you get one for both games or not. Swing and a miss, and that'll be strike 3 on a high fastball. 2 outs here, and that is the second strikeout of the day for Farrell. As stepping up to the plate now is LeClaire. 1 runner still on base with Esmond. Aubrey LeClaire batting .297, so a tad under 3 this season. Wind up in a pitch from Farrell. Went ahead as if it would be a bunt, but didn't even square up. That's going to be called strike, 0-1 count. LeClaire only has 6 RBIs on the season and 37 at-bats, so less at-bats than some of the others. And this one is a running swing, and it is fouled off into the left side. So it's going to be 0-2 count with 2 outs here. Michigan looking to get something to show of that early hit in this inning. .02 count. Farrell's preparing to wind up. Steps back, throws, and this one's fouled down the third base line once again. All day, Michigan has been behind Farrell. All the lefties have been hitting it right into Nebraska's dugout on the third base side. All the righties have kind of been tipping it over into the backstop on their own side. Only 1 hit for the Wolverines so far this game. That came earlier this inning from Carson, the senior, with a line drive that found some ground in shallow left center. 0-2 count. Farrell preparing to get the pitch out. It's a windup. Hits off the backstop and almost ricochets and hits Coach Hutchins, but she ducks out of the way. Remains 0-2 for LeClaire. Audrey LeClaire is really fighting on this one. Already has 3 foul balls, bringing up the pinch count, I suppose, for Farrell, already at 28 pitches. In the bottom of the second. This runs a swing and a strike 3. Called strike, not even looking, the bat didn't even leave the shoulders. That'll conclude the second inning. 0 runs, 1 hit, 0 errors, and 1 runner left on base for the Wolverines. Finally cracked open the no-hitter, I suppose, but unable to do anything from it. We got who other than Sirocco coming back out. I don't want to jinx it as an announcer, but no Cornhusker has safely touched a base this game so far. I know it is only the top of the third, so still plenty of time. But we appreciate you spending your afternoon with WCBN. It's been a busy week for us. We just had a crew down yesterday in San Antonio. Unfortunately for Wolverines fans, to not end quite the way they were hoping, but I think I speak for everyone when I say the men's basketball team probably went further in that tournament than many fans were expecting, myself included. Like always, Michigan started off the season on the road, only played in Ann Arbor for the first time a couple weeks back, and is beginning the bulk of their regular season Big Ten schedule. So we got Sirocco pitching to Caitlin Neal. Pitch one is in and low, ball one. Neal batting .250 this season. This is her first at bat, the sophomore. This one swung on, put down the line in the air, and it's caught in right field. And Wolverines get one quick out. Leclerc getting under, barely having to even move. Just took a couple of steps in and then to the right. Squire comes on up, the number 8 batter, with one out in the top of the third. Sirocco looks down at her wrist and then winds up. Quick pitch. This one's right down the middle for a called strike. .329 average for Squire this season. 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, and 10 walks. However, also has 14 strikeouts. Here's the pitch from Sirocco into second baseman, off of Sirocco's glove. That'll come in safely. Curious to see how that is ruled. I believe it will be a hit. So Squire gets on base for the first time for anybody on the Huskers off of a line drive, hits off Sirocco's glove, and then ricochets into the outfield. Michigan couldn't really do anything there. Kirsten tried fielding it, but after it ricocheted, she was out of position. Just an unfortunate play there. Infield playing back for the double play potential. First pitch is in from Sirocco, swing and a miss. 0-1 count here with one out in the top of the third. Bredwell at the plate, the 9-hitter. Wind up pitch. This is fouled up behind home plate, well over the backstop and well over the grandstands too. Bredwell has only 29 at-bats this season, but does have a home run this season. This one's hit into left at the fence, and that one goes on over. So there you go. Bredwell cracks this one open, 2-0 lead. Sirocco gives a line drive home run right down the left field line, and a leaping Blair couldn't do anything to stop that one, and the Cornhuskers take an early 2-0 lead. One out here, and that's going to clear the bases. Infield huddles up around Sirocco and then prepares for the next batter. Bredwell was the 9-hitter. So this does bring up the top of the order for Andrews at the plate. Earlier today, struck out. Pitch. This one's going to be a ball high from Sirocco. 1-0 count. Not too many Nebraska fans, but there's a handful showcasing the red in the crowd, right behind Nebraska's dugout, fittingly. Step back pitch. This one's a bloop to third baseman, scoops it up as bump, throws over to Esmond, and that'll be out number 2. So 2 outs now in the top of the third. Michigan looking to get out of this one without giving up any more runs. Ybarra's up. Flew out to center field first at bat. Corners in, infield out. This one's a grounder right to Esmond. Barely has to move. Steps on first base. Gets the third out. So that'll do for the top of the third inning. 2 runs, 2 hits, no runners left on base, and no errors. Nebraska cracks this one open, 2-0 lead. Going into the bottom of the third as the Wolverines look to answer of their own. Bump is going to lead off for Michigan. Sirocco's average, or ERA, will go up after that, surrendering the 2 earned runs. Prior to it, she was almost below 1. Let me see what she is at. Next time she comes up to the circle, I'll see what her ERA went up to. Scoring update from Allentown. Michigan just surrendered a goal to American International. So in the first period, with about 4:30 left, Michigan leading 2-1. This is a single elimination tournament, so 1 loss will be enough to send them packing. However, there's a lot of promise for this Wolverines team. Have, I believe, 5 first-round picks for the NHL, and several Olympians mixed in there. Had to go over to Beijing earlier this year. And they came on, finished the regular season as the 2 seed in the Big Ten, won 2 games at home, or 2 series at home, and then went over to Minnesota to win the Big Ten tournament. It's a 1 overall seed, and then now playing in Allentown. Back to the softball game at hand. We got Bump in the batter's box. Pitch 1 is in for a called strike. Bump has a 200 average, the lowest of all the starters on the Wolverines. Farrell looking at her wrist, stepping back, rocking forward, pitch, and that one's going to be low, but called for a strike. A little bit of a delayed call there by the umpire. And with that, it's going to be an 0-2 hold for Taylor Bump. Bump, the senior, her 5th-year senior. A lot of players, due to the COVID pause a couple years back, got some extra eligibility. Pitch, this one's going to be high for a ball. 1-2 for Bump. No outs here in the bottom of the third. Michigan just looking to make something happen here and answer Nebraska's 2-run shot in the top of the inning. Farrell rocking back, pitching. That one's going to be fast and low, and catcher can't hang on to it. Bredwell ricochets, and that'll be a ball. 2-2 count right now. Bump is the 8th hitter, with McVeigh coming up on deck. Wind up, pitch, and this one's hit into the outfield. Getting under it is Neal and gets the fly out right there. Looked like it might be able to hit the turf because it was in the gap between right and center, but Neal showcasing her speed, getting under it with time to spare, able to grab it in for 1 out in the bottom of the third inning. Ella McVeigh, the freshman, coming up to the plate, along with Wydra, the only other freshman in the lineup here. 1 out, infield playing in. Wind up in the pitch. This one's a swing right down the third base line, but barely foul. So taking some time is Farrell, and McVeigh's going to step on out too. Finally get him back in. Wind up pitch. This one's going to be a called strike. Farrell is dealing so far today. No earned runs, only 1 hit and 3 strikeouts. Oh, 2 count. Getting set, infield playing in, wind up in the pitch. This one's going to be a little bit high. Ball 1. McVeigh is batting .308 this season. 16 hits, 14 of them singles, only 2 doubles in addition. Has some speed, however, 4 stolen bases. Wind up in the pitch. This one's going to be called for a strike 3. McVeigh just looked at that one after the strike call and wish he could have had that one back, it seems like. It was right down the middle, too. And that'll bring up Lexi Blair, top of the lineup. 0 for 1 today with a line out to second base. Here's the windup and the pitch. Low, ball 1. Depending on which poll you look at, Michigan varies. This one from USA Today has Michigan as a 19. Nebraska is unranked in that poll. But some other ones have Michigan as high as 13. It's going to be a check swing. Let's see if she went. Third base umpire said she did. So 1-1 now with 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Two outs. Farrell steps back onto the rubber. Wind up, pitch. That one's going to be low and inside for ball 2. Michigan only with 1 hit this game so far, and that came from Carson in the second. But beyond that, not a whole lot of anything, not a ton of contact either. Already given up 4 strikeouts of the first 9. Swing and a pitch. And that's going to be a strike 2. 2-2 with Lexi Blair at the plate. 2 outs. Farrell looking to try to close out of this inning without surrendering a base runner. Wind up and the pitch. This one is fouled down the first base line. Couple inches too foul. Probably for the best for the Wolverines, as it would have been an easy out. As Felder did get the ball. So got to remain 2-2. Clouds coming back over. The sun has gone away for the moment. It's a chilly one here in Ann Arbor. Low 40s. Wind up and the pitch. This one is lined over into right field. Hits the ground. Catching on one bounce is Glatter. And Lexi Blair is going to round into first base with a 2-out single. So two strikes and 2 outs, and Blair doesn't even flinch. Sends a liner straight over the first baseman's head. Finds the ground in right field. Sierra Kirsten's up at the plate, the sophomore, batting .333 this season. Got a strikeout in the first inning. Blair has 5 stolen bases, but on 6 attempts, so she has been caught once. Pitches in, it's a fast one and low and inside. Got to be called strike, however. Hutchins is signaling over to first base. Curious to see if there's going to be any steal here. Stepping back is Farrell. Rocking back. Here's the wind-up pitch. A little bit of a delayed lead, but no steal from Blair. 1-1 count. Kirsten trying to get out of this inning. Gave up a 2-out base runner. Pitch is here. Stealing is Blair. Safe. Gets under. The umpire says she did not apply the tag. So going on to second now with a 6th stolen base of the season is Blair. That will be a ball too, so 2-1. With 2 outs, runner on second, scoring position. Single would likely drive her home. Put Michigan on the board. Looks over at the wrist. Rocks back. Here's the pitch. This one's going to be a ball. Just barely inside, it looks like. Nebraska wearing the red pinstripes, and Michigan wearing the white tops and blue bottoms with the maize lettering. Do have to say the Nebraska unis are growing on me a little bit. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. That'll be a strike 3. That is Farrell's 5th strikeout to finish up the bottom of the 3rd inning. 0 runs, 1 hit, 1 runner left on base, and no errors. Michigan yet to get a run this game, already through 3. These two teams are playing very close, with Storako outside of that 1 home run looking very good. Appreciate all the listeners for spending your afternoon with us at WCBN. We do have an update from Allentown into the first period. It's still 2-1, so Michigan has the lead. We'll be keeping you updated throughout the game. I have a feeling this softball game might end before that one, already through 3. I will be on all 3 of the softball games this weekend. I was originally scheduled just to do today and tomorrow, but then with Sundays being canceled and moved to today, I picked this one up as well. So I'm excited to follow this team. This is my first softball call of the season. Got a handful of them last season. It was awfully fun. And with that, the team's prepared to get ready for the top of the 4th inning. Storako back in the circle. Rocking back, wasting no time. Pitch, swung on into the outfield in between second and shortstop. Early hit by Gray. Storako has a 1.19 ERA. So we were discussing this a little bit earlier, how Storako was almost under 1, but then just gave up those 2 runs in the 3rd inning rather. Okay, Felder's coming up to the plate. Pitch 1 is in as a riser, and it's pretty high. Ball 1, so 1-0 count. Runner on first base is Gray. No stolen bases this season, but no attempts either. Rocking back is Storako. Pitch, fastball right down the middle, swing and a miss. 1-1 count for Maya Felder. The junior at the plate. She's batting .394 with 2 home runs and 16 RBIs. The runner on base looking to add to that. Pitches in, swing and fouled back. Going to be strike 2, 1-2 counts. Runner on first base. Not really making too much of any threat for the Wolverines, with Gray just hanging close by to first. Here's the pitch. This one is swung and fouled on back. Gonna still remain 1-2 count. And here we have the catcher, Carson, coming out to speak with Storako. Give a little bit of a pep talk. Headed back behind the plate. Sun's coming out once again. Looks like Mother Nature can't decide what she wants today between cloudy and sunny. No out, 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. This one is lined right over the glove of Kirsten, and that'll go into the outfield. Let's see if it's a hit or an error. I have a feeling it'll be a hit because she was pretty stretched out. Yes, it will be a hit. 4th hit of the game. if Kirsten had a bigger cow to make that glove, she might have had it there and maybe turned 2 even. But just unable to reel it in. So 2 runners on with no outs as Wallace steps to the plate. Wallace struck out in the 2nd inning in her first at-bat of the day. Wind up in the pitch. We got a kind of a half steal, but no one was covering second. He's able to trot on back. Great move by Gray, trying to keep Michigan honest there. That will be a called strike, however. So 0-1 count for Wallace. No outs. Crowd is getting loud here. Wind up pitch, fouled on back. Got the corners in and the middle of the infield back. Looking to maybe turn 2 or 3 potentially. Would have to be pretty hardly hit. Pretty quickly hit for that, however. Storako through 3, giving up 4 hits and 2 runs. Wind up in the pitch. This one's low. Another delayed steal from Gray, but doesn't go anywhere. For someone who has 0 stealing attempts this season, she is awfully mobile now that she's on second. Okay. 1-2. Here's the pitch. This one is in between third and short. Going to be a single. Quickly gunning it in is Blair. So bases are loaded with no outs as Wallace gets the 3rd hit of this inning. Looks like Storako is going to be in a little bit of trouble here if she can't turn the ship around. No outs, bases loaded, and 3 straight hits given up this game, this inning, in the top of the 4th. Hutchins is coming out to the circle. Gonna speak to Storako. I would be pretty surprised if she gets pulled this early. I think it's more just a confidence boost talk. So Gray on 3rd, Felder on 2nd, Wallace on 1st. Feel like Abed and Costello saying all that. Gray and Felder have yet to attempt a stolen base. Wallace has a little bit of speed. 5 attempts and 4 of them successful this season, but being on first base, she won't be going anywhere anytime soon. And Hutchins is going to wrap this one up, come back into the dugout, talk to some of the infield on her way. And that is going to do it for this mound visit. So Peyton Glatter is back in the box. Got a strikeout in the 2nd inning. Storako 4 strikeouts, but ever since the 3rd inning, she's been a little bit rocky. Trying to get through this inning. Wind up pitch. This one is lined into shallow right. It'll land. Throw home. It's going to be close. She's out of there. Wow. Gray was kind of delayed there because she was unsure if it would be caught in the air or not. She got burnt for that because even though it dropped, gunning throw from LeClaire, laser beam right to home plate, and Carson was able to apply the tag. There we go. Michigan gets 1 out here, as there's not a ton you could do with Gray. Honestly, outside of maybe stepping up a little bit further, so she wouldn't have as much room to run. Pitches in. This one is going to be a called strike to Neal. So Storako keeping the momentum going and moving quickly. Base is still loaded, however. That will be ruled a fielder's choice because it did land. So Glatter did take first. Wind up in the pitch. That one's going to be low for a ball. 1-1. Yeah, that's tough for Glatter and tough for Gray especially. Poor base running. Wind up in the pitch. Swing and a miss. That was high, however. Caught with the riser is Neal stepping out of the box now. She had a fly out to right field in the 3rd inning with an early 1-2 count supporting Storako. 1 out here, bases loaded. Wind up in the pitch. High, and I believe it is tipped. Will go over the catcher's head. Count remains 1-2 with Neal looking to try to get a run in with 1 out, bases loaded. Here's the windup and the pitch. That one's high, 2-2 count. Sirocco just trying to get out of this inning. It was bases loaded, no outs. Now it's bases loaded, 1 out. Potentially a double play could get the Wolverines back in the dugout. Wind up and the pitch. And this one's going to be low, make the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, bases loaded here. Sirocco really ratcheting up the tension in this one. Corners playing in, center playing out. Wind up and the pitch. This one's fouled back beyond the backstop. 3-2 count remains. Taking her time now, a little bit uncharacteristic of Sirocco. Wind up and the pitch. This one's lined to second, hit on the air, turned almost. Wow. McVeigh got the ball in the air, and Felder was off the bag, flips it over to Bump, and Bump can't hang on. That would have gotten Michigan out of the inning, but still gets an out there. And the heads-up play being in the right position for McVeigh, scoops it up in the air. So that'll be 2 outs, bases loaded still. If Bump were able to hang on to that, the team would be trotting into the dugout right about now. But now Squire's coming up. Got a single and was advanced home by the home run by Bredwell in the 3rd. Huskers have a 2-0 lead here over Michigan as Sirocco looks to navigate out of this one. Almost there. It was bases loaded, no outs. Now it's 2 outs. Bases still loaded, however. Wind up and a pitch. That one's high. Going to be ball 2. Interesting, we got Wallace on second, taking quite a bit of a lead, even though she has nowhere to go. I guess her mindset is that she's hoping to come on home for any ball that lands safely in play. Sirocco taking her time once again. Wind up and the pitch. This one's high, 3-0 count. Sirocco could walk in another run if she's not careful here. 2 outs, 3-0 count, and bases loaded. Crowd is getting loud. Dugout is getting loud, giving energy. Wind up and the pitch. That one's going to be strike. Oh, it took some time for the home plate umpire to call that one. Had a step and a half from Squire over to first base. Think she might have had it. But with that, it'll be 3-1, and Sirocco lives to pitch another day. And that one's ball 4. Walking in a run. Here you go. Gladder goes to second. Wallace goes to third. Felder comes on home. It is now a 3-0 ball game. First walk of the game for either team. Came at the worst possible time for Sirocco, I suppose. Wind up and the pitch. This is going to be a ball, so 1-0. Bredwell at the plate. Last one was a line drive home run over the head of Lexi Blair. Just barely beyond the 200-foot marker, but that's all she needed. Wind up and the pitch. This one is lined foul. And that was awfully close. Looked like it would be fair, but then it drifted right over Bump's head and into foul territory. Perfectly positioned, too, if that would have been a foot or two to the right. Could have driven in 1, if not 2 runs. We got on third base is Wallace, a speedster with 4 stolen bases this season. She's been antsy on her entire tenure on base this inning. Pitches in, that's going to be a ball and high. 2-1 count. Sirocco trying to get out of this one without surrendering any more runs. 1 run already surrendered on that walk. Here's the windup and the pitch. This one's right down the middle, strike 2 called. 1 pitch away from the Wolverines coming back up to the plate. getting out of the jam here. Sirocco looking down at the wrist, wind up and the pitch. This one's high, gonna make it full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded. Could you think of a more intense situation? I guess bottom of the 7th might be 1, but beyond that, it's still very tight. And Sirocco, it's all on her shoulders. Wind up pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Umpire says it was a foul tip, but caught by the catcher. So regardless, Michigan gets a K right there. 5th strikeout of the day for Sirocco. That inning, 1 run scored by Nebraska on 3 hits, 3 runners left on base, and no errors from the Wolverines. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Sirocco's outing end a little bit earlier than planned today. Sirocco's ERA has ballooned up to 127 after beginning this game at 103. Coming back up to the circle is Farrell. Once again, like to thank everyone for spending your afternoon with WCBN and listening to softball coverage. It's starting to become a nice day here. It was quite chilly as I was walking over to Alumni Field, but now the sun's out and the temperature's warming up. I am kind of disappointed I'm cooped up here in the press box for this one. So Michigan down by 3 as they go into the bottom of the 4th. Coming up to the plate, it is going to be let's see who's coming on up. Burkhardt trots out of the dugout and comes into the batter's box. Lineup and the pitch. That's going to be fouled back into the backstop. Burkhardt had a fly out to center field first at bat. Looked like it might land, but scooped under by Neal. It's now an early 0-1 count. Wind up and the pitch. This one's a dribbler over to the pitcher, fumbled, but thrown over to first base for the out. Farrell stuck with it, picked it on up, scooped it over to Felder. And Michigan gets an early out here in the bottom of the 4th. Carson at the plate has the 1-2 hits for the Wolverines this game. Got the first hit of the game in the 2nd with a single. Eventually got it out on a fielder's choice. Pitches in, she swings it down the line right into the hands of Gladder in right field. She was on the warning track, so had the power. Just a couple more push-ups, that might have been enough to put it over the fence. 2 outs, and this is a quick bottom of the 4th so far. Esmond is up, hit into a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning. Got Carson out, but she was safe. No one on at the moment, so no chance for that. In the circle is Farrell. Wind up, change up, high, and it'll be a ball. It's very interesting seeing the contrast between Farrell and Sirocco. Farrell takes her time on the windup and in between pitches. Sirocco's always so quick. Pitches in, fastball down the middle, fouled back. Going to be a 1-1 count for Esmond. Michigan trailing 3-0. Last game on Wednesday they lost, which was their first loss at home of the season. Wind up and the pitch. This one is hit in the air to left field, getting under Squire, and that'll be out number 3. So quick 1-2-3 inning for Nebraska And going to the top of the fifth, Nebraska still has a 3-0 lead. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no runners left on base. The bottom of the fourth. Yeah, this one is going by fast, and Michigan needs to make a change soon, or else they'll get their first Big Ten game is going to be a loss otherwise. Going in the fifth. So I was saying Michigan, they got their first loss at home the other night, which is pretty rare to lose at Alumni Field. They go some seasons without even losing at home. Remember last season, I think they only had one loss at home. And before that, I don't think they had any losses. But before that, it was COVID, so they only had like a couple games at home. But then before that, I don't think they had any. I'm going through last year's box schedule, and I only see one loss at home. That was against Northwestern, and I think that might have been it. So certainly a rare sight to be at Alumni and get a loss. Yeah. But with that, we got top of the fifth, Billy Andrews coming up to the plate. 3-0 ball game, Cornhuskers ahead. Andrews had a strikeout in the first and a ground out to the shortstop in the third. Pitch one is in, and it's high. Storako still in the circle in this one. 4 innings pitched, 5 hits given up, and 3 runs, all 3 of them earned. But 5 strikeouts to that. Coming up next, lineups Ybarra 0 for 2. Andrews also 0 for 2 in this one. Going to be a 1-1 count here. Storako winds up and the pitch. Let's see what that call is. That's going to be a ball just barely. Stadium went silent as everyone looked over to the home plate umpire. Sophomore here came into the game with a pretty stellar batting average, but receded down to .406 now. Wind up in a pitch, and that one's going to be high. 3-1 count for Andrews. Only 1 walk surrendered by either team this game, and it came at the worst possible time, but Storako on this 3-1 count looking to avoid that again. Pitches in. That's going to be a called strike right down the middle. Full count. Here's a windup, 3-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Storako's back at it, 6th strikeout of the afternoon. So even in a game that's been a little bit uncharacteristic, still puts up 6 Ks. ERA bounces back down to 125 after that out. WHIP is under 1. It's 0.795. Here's a pitch that's going to be low and a called strike to Ybarra. Has a fly out and a ground out in this game, so no hits in her 3rd visit to the plate. Wind up and the pitch. Bouncer over to second, scooped up by Kirsten, flips it over to Esmond. That's an out for second out of the top of the 5th here. Storako's back in her groove. So 2 outs as Gray comes to the plate. Got a single in the 4th. Eventually stranded where she was thrown out on that fielder's choice. Here's a hit into the outfield. That lands. First one, shallow center, line drive. Gray gets on for her 2nd hit of the afternoon. Storako trying to get back in the groove and get out of this inning unscathed. 2 outs with a hit right there. Here's a pitch over to Felder. Felder had a single and was eventually advanced home on the walk. So looking to extend to this after last inning. Gray is on first. No stolen base attempts this season. This one's hit up into the air, going to be close down the line, and it drops in fair. And Michigan, just some miscommunication. Kirsten lets it drop. Esmond kind of backed away from it. LeClaire unable to get in time. And that is a tough mistake. Let's see how that one's ruled. That one's going to be a single. Doesn't make sense, didn't touch anyone's glove. But definitely an opportunity Michigan could have gone out there. Infield circles up around the rubber, talking over to Storako. Runners on the corner here. Felder on first, Gray on third. Michigan got 2 early outs, but then gave up a single to shallow center, and then that blue pop fly that probably could have been out 3. As Wallace comes to the plate. She has a single this game, too. The right-handed senior wind up in the pitch. This one's going to be right down the middle for a called strike. Storako already given up 7 hits this game. Uncharacteristic, only 45 on the season total. 7 of them today. Strike 2 with a swing and a miss from Wallace. It was low and inside. So we go 0-2 count with 2 outs. Pitch, swing and a miss. That'll end this inning. Storako and the Wolverines get out of the trouble right there. And she gets her 7th K of the outing. As we go to the bottom of the 5th, no runs, 2 hits, 2 runners left on base, and no errors. As Michigan still trails by 3 and not a ton of opportunities left, only 9 more outs for the Wolverines. I believe Michigan is still winning the hockey game, which is huge for the Michigan Athletic Department. A win today, they play again on Sunday, I believe. If they win on Sunday, they'll advance to Boston, the Frozen Four. Stay tuned to our Twitter and YouTube. We are planning on sending a crew to Boston if necessary for WCBN. Playing at the Garden in Massachusetts. That's always a fun sight. Home of the Boston Bruins and the Boston Celtics. Can have the Wolverines at that stage. Probably a familiar sight for some of the hockey players. Many of the players probably have a future in the NHL. It's been a boon for recruiting for the Wolverines. So with that, we go into the bottom of the 5th. So we got Farrell returning once again for her 5th inning. She's been near perfect so far, only 2 hits surrendered. And no other base runners besides that. Wind up in the pitch to Wydra. She had a strikeout in the 2nd inning in her first at-bat this game. That's going to be ball 1. Michigan needs some spark to get this game competitive. Swing right down the first base line, and that's going to be foul. So 1-1 count. Wydra's batting .315 on the season, but 0 for 1 today so far. 17 hits, but 15 of them have been singles. No triples or home runs to speak of so far. One count to Widra. Wind up and the pitch. This one's going to be a bit high and a ball. 2-1. Wind is starting to pick up a little bit. This might be beneficial to the Wolverines. It's going from right to left and kind of pushing out of play, so could carry a little bit. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be inside for ball 3. Looking to maybe get a walk. Farrell has yet to give up a walk this game. 5 strikeouts, 2 hits, no runs, and no walks. So very dominant outing so far. On the hump. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. That's going to be strike 2, make the count full. Farrell looking to add to her 5 strikeouts. Nebraska's infield playing pretty far back. Almost onto the lip. Showing bunt here is Widra. And here's a swing, and it goes beyond the backstop. Onto the train tracks right behind Alumni Field. Interesting layout they have. This whole athletic complex, it's Yost and Ferry Field and Fisher and Alumni, and it's kind of sandwiched in the field hockey field too, between the highway, Stadium Boulevard, and the train tracks and State Street. Here's the wind-up pitch, and that's going to be high and outside. First walk of the game from Farrell, and Michigan gets a base runner on with no outs. LeClaire coming up, had a strikeout looking in the second inning. LeClaire is back up in the plate. Corners in, and middle infield also playing kind of in too. LeClaire batting .289 this season. Kind of curious why the infield is playing so much in. Potentially they could look to turn 2. Guess they saw something in their scouting report, maybe prevent a bunt or something, which I think could be a possibility. Pitch, and that's going to be a called strike right down the middle, 1-1. LeClaire looking to maybe get this Michigan offense jump started a little bit. Trailing by 3 in the bottom of the 5th. Farrell looking at the wrist. 1 foot on the rubber. Leans back. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be strike 2. 1-2 count. LeClaire falling behind pretty quickly. Runner on first base, looking to maybe extend. It's Widra, 7 stolen bases this season. That one's going to be a ball, just barely, lucky for Audrey LeClaire. Going to be a 2-2 count now. Widra has 9 steal attempts and 7 of them successful. Rocking back is Farrell. Here's the pitch. And that one's going to be low to make it full. So Widra advanced on a walk. Now a chance for another walk here, too, if Farrell's not careful. Only surrendered 2 hits this game. So looking good and no runs, but still 3 innings left, so plenty of time. Rocking back, here's the pitch. Going to be tipped high into the air over to third base. Flips it over to Felder. That's an out, but does advance a runner. So it's now 1 out with a runner on second base. So LeClaire puts it in play, unable to get on herself. Taylor Bump comes up to the plate. Runner in scoring position. Here's the pitch. That's going to be a ball, low and a bit outside. I have a feeling Widra is going to be trying to score on any single, depending on where it lands, but especially anything to the outfield. Farrell trying to get back in the groove. Wind up and the pitch. This is a called strike right down the middle. 1-1 with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. bump, batting 196, so barely under 2 after that first at-bat of the day. First at-bat was a fly out to center. Wind up, and the pitch. Line straight to third baseman, caught in the air. Gray was in the perfect position for that. And fortunately for Michigan, Widrow was right by the bag, was able to get on back quickly without even a chance at being picked off. So 2 outs here. And we got Livingston stepping up to the plate, pinch hitting. McVeigh is being pinch hit for. McVeigh got a strikeout looking in the first at-bat. So I guess Coach Hutchins wanted to make a change there with Livingston at the plate. Livingston only 23 at-bats this season. Does have 8 hits. Swing, and this is a liner. Unable to hang on is Ybarra, and that'll be a hit. Rounding third safely, and this will be a run for Michigan, but quickly guns it and got greedy trying to go to second. Livingston gets the third out there. So there's a line drive to second, unable to reel it in. Heads up play by Widrow, rounding third, made it home safely, but then Livingston got greedy and got picked off at second after scoring. So that will be 1 run, but on 1 hit, no errors, no runners left on base, and 1 run in the bottom of the 5th. So Michigan does get something to show of that, but they could have kept it going if Livingston would have stayed. Michigan quickly inching their way back into this one. It's going to be the top of the 6th now, so only 6 more outings for Michigan. So we got Sirocco back in the circle. Started off really strong, had some trouble particularly in the 3rd and 4th inning, but last inning got it mostly under control, looking to maybe finish this one out. Sirocco has 84.1 innings pitched this season. As of now, she would be on the tab for the loss, assuming the result holds. She is the pitcher record. And she only has 1 loss of the season, which came the other night. Uncharacteristic, 13 wins. Update from Allentown. Michigan extended their lead 5-2 with 12 minutes remaining in the 2nd period. So if this keeps up, Michigan should be well on their way into the 2nd night of the Allentown Regional. Here's a windup. This one is lined straight into right field, hits the ground. Throws to first, is going to be close, and that's an out. Wow. Heads up play by LeClaire, charges the ball, gets it, and throws it into Esmond. And that's what you get for hot dogging a little bit from Gladder. Thought she had a safe single, but that's just a heads up play. Used to see Ichiro do that too. So 1 out there, and that saves a base runner for the Wolverines. First pitch is into Neal. Neal has a strikeout and a fielder's choice this game, so 0 for 2. Pitch 1 is in for a ball. Second one's low, and that'll be a second ball as well. So that was actually Burkhart who made that heads-up play, a little bit of a substitution due to the pinch hit earlier. So McVeigh's now at short. Blair's in center. Seiler is in right and left, and then Burkhart is in right and made that heads-up play, saving out. 3-0 count, and that'll be 4-0, advancing Neal on 4 straight pitches. So 1 out here with a runner now on first base, Neal, and Squire comes up to the plate. She's 1 for 1 this game. Had a walk, which advanced a run, and a single, and was advanced by the home run. So having a very stellar game so far. 1 RBI and 1 hit. Pitch is in, that one's high. 5th straight ball in a row for Sirocco with 1 out here in the top of the 6th. First base is Neal. This one's a check swing. They say she did not go, pointing over to the first base umpire. So it's going to be 2-0, 6th straight ball. We're going to have a mound visit here. Brundage is coming on out, so not head coach Hutchins. So not going to be a change. I think more just trying to get Sirocco settled in here. 6 straight balls is not a good start to the inning. And now the home plate umpire is going to come out to the circle. Try to get them to speed this one up. 2-0 count for Squires. She has a walk already today. Plus she has a single and was advanced home by a home run. So with that, the pitching coach will return to the dugout. Squire back up into the box. Wind up and the pitch. This one's going to be a strike finally, breaking the 6th straight ball streak for Sirocco. 2-1 count. Here's the windup. This one's hit high into the air. Might be in no man's land. Getting under it is Blair in center. Makes the out. 2 outs here. Blair began the game in left, but shifted on over to center after that substitution. With Seiler going into left, and then Burkhard going into right and in the position to make that heads-up throw earlier in this inning. 1 runner on base, Neal on first. She's going. This one's hit high into the air in the left center on the warning track as Blair makes the catch with her back touching the wall, and that will get Michigan out of the inning. So Sirocco saved right there. No runs, no hits, 1 runner left on base and no errors as Michigan heads into the bottom of the 6th. Down by 2, finally cracked out that goose egg last inning, looking to maybe get back in it competitively this one. Michigan, let's see who's coming, is back to Farrell, so she'll come back out once again. Still 5-2 at Allentown. Second period about halfway through that one. Michigan, after this, they got a 1-game matchup in the middle of the week on Tuesday. You see them do this relatively frequently, where they schedule the weekend series against Big Ten opponents, then maybe squeeze an out-of-conference game on a Tuesday or a Wednesday in between. So this week, that one is against Bowling Green. Pretty quick journey for them, just going straight up the highway, straight up 75. Then they go to Evanston next weekend on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd 3-game series. Return home for a game against Michigan State. Series at home again against Penn State, Central Michigan. Then they go face Maryland at Michigan State. Then return home for 2 series against Ohio State and Minnesota and finish off the regular season in Madison. So busy schedule for the Wolverines coming up, a Big Ten play. Here it is. First pitch is in from Farrell. That one's a ball low to Blair. Blair is 1 for 2 today with a line out to second base in the first inning and a single to right in the 3rd. Rocking back's Farrell pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-1 count for Blair. Blair had 2 great outs in the top half of this inning. So now looking to try to make a difference at the plate. One count for Blair, the senior. Batting .320 this season. Here's the pitch. This one's going to be low for a ball. 2-1 count. So 2-1 count, Blair here, and we got some movement in the bullpen for Nebraska. Swing and a miss for Blair, make it 2-2 now. Can't make out who is pitching for the Huskers. The way the field is set up, for those unfamiliar at Alumni, you could just barely see the tips of their visors, and that's it, because it's right behind the outfield wall. 2-2 count, Farrell pitching to Blair. Here's the windup. This one is tipped into shallow left, and it hits the ground. Shallow right, pardon me. And Blair gets her second hit of the game. Single going on to first base. Coming up next is Kirsten, 0 for 2 of the day. Looking to advance. Kirsten batting .226 on the season with 5 home runs. Could tie it up with one swing of the bat here. Pitch from Farrell is low for a ball 1. Farrell has 4 hits this game, which is 3 less than Storako so far. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th with 1 runner on. Blair has 7 stolen bases in 8 attempts. This one's going to be ball 2, high and outside. Kirsten quickly getting into a batter's count. More fans are continuing to trickle in. This game was a last-minute addition. Only announced it this morning, so a lot of fans must have saw that and tried to scramble to come on out to Alumni Field. Rocking back, here's the pitch. And this one is hit right into the back of Kirsten. She will advance to first base. Shaking it off. She turned her back on that one, but she is stretching just beyond first base, but she looks okay. So no outs and 2 runners on. We got Kirsten and Blair on first and second, respectively. And Burkhardt comes up, made that clutch play in the top half of the inning, gunning out a runner at first from right field. Kind of reminds me of Ichiro Suzuki, who used to do that while on the Mariners. Farrell's still in the circle and rocks back and throws ball 1, a little bit low. One-0 count, 2 runners on, no outs for the Wolverines. Here's the pitch. This one is fouled, just barely fouled. And let's see if that's going to be a catch or no. Probably not, saying it hit off the dirt. And that's what both of the umpires say, yeah. We had the third baseman, Gray, dive for it, but more of a trap than a catch. Kind of reminding me of like some of those football discussions. Coach Carol Hutchins signaling over to the batter, wondering if there might be a sac bunt to advance. She is very familiar with that. Here's the pitch. This runs a swing right up the middle over to second, tags a base, errant at first on the throw. So that will be a fielder's choice, advancing Blair to third, and Burkhardt will advance to first herself, but Kirsten gets thrown out at second. Andrews got that base unassisted and then threw it, but it was just a little bit offline. And it probably would have been a second or two late. Here we have a mound visit. Wouldn't be surprised if that's all we've seen from Farrell so far. Had a pitcher warming up in the pen. The pen door is opening, so I have a feeling, yes, it will be a call to the bullpen. Michigan 4 hits in this game, but runners on the corners with only 1 out and down by 2. Michigan looking to salvage this one. We got the team leading the crowd in a Go Blue chant here during the mound visit. Let's see what the verdict is going to be. I don't believe a change will be made at the moment. We still see Farrell in the circle. So I guess that mound visit was for naught. So that mound visit will end without any changes on the field, but we did see a player come in from the bullpen. So finishing warming up. I have a feeling there won't be much of a leash if any runs are scored here. With only a 2-run lead, not much of a cushion at all. Wind up and pitch from Farrell into Carson. Carson got a single in the 2nd inning and flew out to right in the 4th. That first one's a ball. One 0 count. Here's the pitch. This one is up to the shortstop. Fumbles it. Throws to first. It's going to be close and safe at first base is Carson, and that will score a run as Blair comes from third. Looks like shortstop Andrews had her eye at the plate, was unable to scoop it up cleanly, and by the time she threw it over to first, it was just too late. So Michigan brings it within 1. It's a 3-2 ball game. They will rule that an error on Andrews. So it's a 1-run game now. And Michigan has 2 runners on with with only 1 out, pardon me. I believe they're making a maybe a substitution or something. I think that will be a pinch. Is that a new pitcher? Yes, I believe so. We have the coach of the manager of the Cornhuskers speaking over to the home plate umpire. So we got a substitution. Coming in, we got number 23 filling in for Farrell, Wallace. So Wallace was the designated player earlier, but now she's just coming into pitch. The crowd is playing Pump It Up, the football jam. It's really getting this team and this crowd amped up. More fans continue to trickle on in. So we got Wallace warming up. It's a 1-run ball game after that error. 3-2, Nebraska leading. Michigan has 2 runners on base, first and second with 1 out. Crowd is continuing to fill up. Probably about 150 or so people, if I had to estimate. Even a couple of people in the outfield bleachers filling in. Usually don't see too many of those in these early season Friday games, especially on a colder day, windy day like this. So we'll see from Wallace if she's able to right the ship for the Cornhuskers. It's now just a 1-run ball game. And in those warm-up pitches, she was throwing some heat. Feel like the Wolverines might be in for a little bit of a culture shock as Esmond comes up to the plate. 0 for 2 this game. Lauren Esmond got the fielder's choice in the 2nd inning and then flew out to left in the 4th, looking to maybe get a single that could advance a run. Rodriguez pinch running on first and Burkhart still on second. Here's a pitch. This one is lined straight to second, throws over to third, gets the out there, but that's all Nebraska will get on that one. Andrews redeems herself after that error on the previous play. So just like that, first pitch hit, swing on to second, and now it is 2 outs here with runners on first and second. Rodriguez advances to second, the pinch runner, and Esmond at first. So we got Widra back up. She walked and then scored in the 5th inning, first run of the night for the Wolverines. Pitches in, and it's low, ball 1. Courtney Wallace on the season has 81 innings pitched, 3.63 ERA. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss, 1-1. We draw a little bit behind that one, right down the pipe. Michigan down by 1, looking to even this up potentially with a single. Wind up pitch, and that is going to be a ball. That was awfully close. Fortunately for the Wolverines, it'll be a 2-1 count here. Rodriguez, who's on second, has 5 stolen base attempts, and 3 of them were successful this season. Wind up and the pitch, swing and a miss, 2-2 count. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 runners on base here in the bottom of the 6th. Michigan trailing by 1 run, trying to even it up here late in this first game of the doubleheader. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. Here's the pitch. That's awfully close. No call there, so it'll be a full count now. For those unfamiliar with the setup at Alumni Field, the press box is not behind home plate. It's kind of at an angle. So it's tough to judge like the inside and outside things. But that one looked awfully close from up here. 3-2-2, so full count around. Running on the pitch, it's hit into left. Let's see if it'll land. It will not. Diving catch by Squire, and that'll save a run and get the Huskers out of this 6th inning. Incredible grab by Squire, and that'll be the end of the 6th. 1 run scored by the Wolverines off 1 hit with 2 runners left on base and 1 error. So Michigan brings it within 1, and Coach Hutchins can't help but to smile after that play. It was almost perfectly placed. Just Squire got a great jump and laid out and extended the glove and finished it. Sirocco comes out for the 7th, looking to get a complete game, even if it might be a loss. If this holds, she will be the pitcher record, regardless of what happens, assuming she finishes this inning. At the moment, she's in pace for the loss, but a 7th inning rally could get the dub for the Wolverines. So we go into the 7th. Thank you for tuning in to WCBN. It's been a lot of fun calling this one, and we still got 7 more innings after this. So they got a 6:30 first pitch, so we'll get probably a 90-minute or so intermission in between the 2 of these. Michigan hockey still playing. Last I checked, it was a 5-2 lead in the 2nd period. Michigan does have a power play at the moment, looking to extend. This would be huge for the program if they are able to win this and advance to Sunday's game. 1 win away from the Garden. So we got Sirocco back in the circle, leaning back. Here's a pitch, wasting no time. Change up, that's a little bit high, ball 1. Pitching over to Andrews. Billy Andrews has 2 strikeouts and a ground out this game. Batting .402 on the season, however, so despite the 0 for 3. Second pitch is a swing and a miss, 1-1 count. Michigan trailing by 1, no outs here in the top of the 7th. It was a riser, and that was a ball. So 2-1 count here. Wind up and the pitch. This one is tipped into the air over to the first base side. Second baseman Kirsten calls everyone off, gets under it, and makes a grab for 1 out here. Sirocco's 2 outs away from the complete game, assuming it doesn't go into extras. That will be a lot for Sirocco if it does go into extras. She pitched on Wednesday during the thunderstorm. And then this is a doubleheader, too, so the team's probably pretty tired. Wind up in the pitch over to Ybarra, who's 0 for 3 on the day. So the top of the lineup's not doing too hot for the Cornhuskers. Billy Andrews is 0 for 4, and Ybarra is 0 for 3. Second pitch, it's low and bounces on in. 2-0 count. Michigan going to have to put up some offense in the bottom half of the inning. Third pitch is in, and it's high, ball 3. Sirocco has two walks in the game so far. One of them came at worst possible time with the bases loaded. Fourth pitch, wind up. Let's see. That's going to be a called strike, just barely in there at the letters. Check swing. I don't think she would have gone, but it would have been a point down the third base line. Regardless, Ybarra trying to get on base here with a 3-1 count. Has yet to get on base this game. Had a fly out, a ground out, and a ground out this game. Wind up in the pitch. This is fouled into the air right behind, and it's caught. Wow. I thought that went over the backstop at first, but barely staying in. The wind kept it in play, and getting under it is the catcher Carson. So Michigan gets 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Just trying to stay in this one and put the pressure on the offense to tie it up and take the lead in the bottom. Sirocco's doing what she's needed. Pitches in. That's going to be a called strike. 0-1 count. Sirocco has 7 hits surrendered, 7 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, and 3 runs in total this game. So I think they made an adjustment. Earlier, I think all 3 runs were earned, but I think now they took that back, scoring adjustment. So helping out her ERA brings it down about 15 points with that adjustment. 0-2 count. Here's the pitch. That one's awfully high to Gray. Gray struck out looking in the first, got a single in the fourth and a fifth, both times stranded on third base. 1-2 count in the top of the 7th. 2 outs. Wind up in the pitch. Fouled on back beyond the backstop. Nebraska contingent is getting loud here. Only a dozen or so fans. I would imagine maybe family or fans that are alumni in the area. Wind up in the pitch. This one is tipped over to the shortstop, scooped up by McVeigh, thrown for the out, and that'll be 3. Sirocco gets a complete game, assuming they don't go into extras. However, she is on pace for the loss at the moment. If Michigan is unable to get at least 1 run in this one, this will be her 2nd loss of the season. First one came just 2 days ago, so it's been a pretty poor week for Sirocco. Started off with 13 straight wins to the season. Still an incredible ERA. It was down to 113 at the end of that outing despite the 2 earned runs given up. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to WCBN this afternoon. Don't forget, we will be back with Game 2 of the doubleheader. That one, I think, will be on Fox Sports or Big Ten. So stay tuned. You could maybe listen to our audio and put on their visuals if you'd like. Or just listen to our audio if you like that. We appreciate all the listeners. Playing Thunderstruck here at Alumni Field. Got Courtney Wallace kind of dancing to it too from the circle. Assuming everything will hold, she could get the save here despite giving up the run earlier Or wait, no, the run wasn't on her, so she actually has a clean record too. So if she could get these 3 outs, she'll get the save, the 1 2/3 inning save for Wallace. She has 1 save this season, so she could double that now. We got the left fielder coming up to bat, Sealer. Oh, there is an adjustment, pardon me. So it won't be Sealer. Can't seem to make out the number from up here. Lexi Voss is coming in. Pinch hitting. 19 at-bats this season. Only 1 hit in that span. .053 batting average. Trying to get something started here. Wind up. Fastball, barely outside. That's going to be ball 1. Michigan trailing by 1 here in the bottom of the 7th. Only have 3 outs to tie it up and potentially take the lead. 1 swing of the bat could do that. Wind up and the pitch. This one's fouled off right almost into the on-deck batter. We have bump on in the on-deck circle and almost got drilled. So 1-1 count here. Courtney Wallace trying to get composed and get the save. Here's the pitch. Change up, that one was high. 2-1. Wind up and the pitch. This one is fouled on back, staying alive. 2-2 count for Lexi Voss. Michigan trying to get something started here. Voss is a 7-hitter, so it'll be Bump and McVeigh, assuming no adjustments are made further. And then the top of the order with Blair and Kirsten and Burkhardt. 2-2 count to Voss. Checking the wrist, wind up and the pitch. That one's outside. Full count here. Crowd's getting loud. Michigan looking to start off Big Ten play with a win. This is the first game in the Big Ten for both Nebraska and Michigan this season. Playing a 3-game series this weekend. Pitches in, fouled up, hits off the backstop. Gonna remain full. Michigan has won the Big Ten in 3 straight seasons, 2018, 2019, and 2021. No Big Ten play, obviously, in 2020. Hoping to make it 4 straight this year. Wind up and the pitch. Swing and a miss. I believe that was fouled off, actually, is what they're saying. So staying to fight another day is Lexi Voss, bringing up the pitch count here. Not like that'll matter here in the bottom of the 7th. Okay, taking her time, stepping back and throw. This one is tipped foul into the grandstands, right by the press box, too. 3rd straight foul ball hit by Lexi Voss, staying alive as a pinch hitter. 1 ball would send her to first, and potentially a hit could send her further. Michigan trailing 3-2, no outs, bottom of the 7th, full count. Here's a pitch, and let's see. They're saying she went, but it bounced, and they throw over to first. Wow, that is heartbreaking for Lexi Voss. Check the swing. Points over to first. They say she went, but it did bounce, and the catcher just had to flip it over to first base, and that was all that was needed to put 1 out on the scoreboard here with Taylor Bump coming up to the plate. Bump is batting .193 this season. Has a fly out to center and then a line drive to shortstop. No, neither of them hits. First pitch is in, fastball, swing and a miss. 0-1 count. Michigan quickly getting down to their final 2 outs. Down by 1, however. A single swing could change it up. McVeigh is in the batter's box, so looking like no pinch hitter will be used there. 0-1 count. Courtney checking the wrist. Here's the throw. Hit! Right over to the shortstop. Can't hang on to it, and Michigan takes first base. They're calling that a hit, too. 5th hit of the game, and first one for Taylor Bump. She's on first base, and now Michigan could walk on off of here with 1 swing of the bat here in the bottom of the 7th. Hutchins is talking over to the first base coach and the pitching coach, too. A little bit of a powwow, seeing whether to make a substitution or not. Bump is not known for her base running. 0 stolen base attempts this season so far, and only 4 runs scored. So 1 out. We got McVeigh up at the plate, and then Blair coming up in the hole. That would be huge to have Blair come on up. One of the leaders of Michigan's team, especially behind or at the plate. And let's see, it looks like there's going to be a substitution. Waving over to number 2 to pinch hit. So not a pinch runner, it's a pinch hitter here. And 1 swing of the bat could change it. 1 out. See who's coming on up as Hutchins goes back to the third base coach's box. One out, 1 runner on. And we got Kiki Thole coming in, pinch hitting for McVeigh. Thole is batting .190 this season, but 3 home runs, so showing the power. Here's the windup and the pitch. This one's outside, 0-1 count, or 1-0 count, pardon me. I have a feeling the power might have been a consideration. Only 8 hits on the season. 4 of them were extra base hits. Wind up and the pitch. Swing, and this one sent down to third base. Flips it over to second base, over to first, and that'll be all she wrote. Into the game right there. Double play by the pinch hitter Thole. Michigan won't get Blair back up, and that'll do it in the top of this doubleheader. Nebraska wins 3-2. Pitcher record for the win is going to be Farrell, and for the loss, it is going to be Storako. Only 2nd loss of the season for Storako, as Michigan is going to take a 90-minute intermission and then come back in the 2nd of this doubleheader. Final score 3-2. Michigan had 7 hits given up, 5 hits of their own, and 1 error apiece for both of these teams. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to this first game of the doubleheader. We'll be back in 90 minutes with game number 2, so stay tuned at 6 p.m. Michigan looking to run this one back and redeem themselves as they now fall to 0-1 in Big Ten play and 18-8 on the season, 2nd straight loss for the Wolverines. While Nebraska goes to 20-9 on the season and 1-0 in Big Ten play. With that, I want to leave you a good night and go blue. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll be back in 90 minutes here from Alumni Field.